This morning I relieved John Tortorella and Mike Sullivan of their coaching duties with the Vancouver Canucks. This was a tough decision, difficult one. I have a great deal of respect for John and Mike, what they've accomplished in their coaching careers. They're good people and they're good coaches, and I want to wish them and their families all the best in their future endeavors.
We're here on the day that the inevitable happens. John Tortorella officially purged from the Lower Mainland and Vancouver. I guess the first question here is, Jim, what's next? This team still doesn't have a GM, and doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, Jason, because these timelines can definitely not cooperate. You know, you could get a really top-end coach like Todd McClellan coming loose and no GM for weeks and weeks, and you may lose a coach like that because of that gap.
Yeah, the most interesting comments I thought were at the very end, where he kind of discussed how difficult it's been getting permission. Not as easy as a simple phone call to talk to these GM candidates who are on other teams who are in the playoffs right now, and that could be a real stumbling block moving forward, especially if they got their guy in Jim Benning, who maybe Boston's throwing up some walls right here, not making it really easy for him to transition from Boston to Vancouver. What happens if they don't have a GM in place until June?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky, because they need to have somebody in place who wants to put his own fingerprint in the organization in terms of the draft, in terms of free agency. So that's all got to be figured out. I'm not sure what the plan B is, but it could be very tricky.
Ultimately, there's several options. I think that those two processes can move along together, if you will. They're not mutually exclusive, but it is the timing of it is somewhat tricky. There's no question, and so I made this decision on what's best for the team, not necessarily timing and general manager timing. So, but you're right. It's the timing is tricky, and I think they have to kind of move somewhat together.
Yeah, I saw you asking questions about style of play at the end there, and I think that is a pretty prominent question today because of what went out to season ticket holders. There was a promise there to have an exciting team.
The Vancouver Canucks have got wonderful fans, and the response has shown that. We as an organization need to reconnect with them. Obviously, it's not like other years. This organization has gone through incredible success from that standpoint. I intend to reach out to many of the season ticket members in town hall meetings, and certainly the summer summit and that sort of thing. We will do everything we can to make this team as good as it can be and get it back to the Stanley Cup playoffs. I can't say or guarantee anything right now. We've got certainly ideas of how we can do that, but going down that path is you need things to happen and the puzzles to fit together, the pieces to work.
Yeah, well, what did you think of the answers you got from Trevor about where this team is moving forward in terms of style?
Well, I thought they were pretty general answers, not too specific, but he definitely agreed that it isn't just the coaching approach. That's certainly a big part of it, but he definitely needs to augment this team with some bottom six players who can support the top players, and some young players who can push the vets.
He seemed loath to approach players with their no trade clauses.
What's your feeling on approaching guys to waive the no-trade clause to be open to a move?
Well, I believe in a contract as a contract. They've earned the right to negotiate whatever terms they can in their contract. So that's one of the things that I have to have a serious look at, and obviously with a new manager coming in, we'll discuss that and figure out how best to approach that and what direction that looks like. But clearly, players deserve that right, and they've negotiated.
Does he have the guts to shake up this core?
I think he's going to have to. I think he's going to have to trade at least one core player and possibly two to make the necessary changes to get them really moving forward in the right direction.
Well, that's it for today. See you when the GM's hired.